it's Jen with Astro T Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the new moon on Monday. It's like the Duran Duran song back in the 80s, on November 13th in Scorpio. This is going to be at 20 degrees 44 minutes, and it's going to be happening here Eastern Standard Time in New England at 4:27 a.m. So pretty much this roller coaster is really beginning its ascent. It's going to be conjunct Mars and opposing Uranus. So here we have the new moon in Scorpio, conjunct to Mars and opposing Uranus. So there is a lot of volatility starting here. Uranus in Taurus brings up, that's earth sign. So it's bringing up, thoughts of earthquakes, ground strikes, plus with the new moon in Scorpio, which is a water sign, we think floods, maybe issues with dams, flooding, underwater earthquakes that can cause flooding, like tsunamis. So we also have a T-square that's building with Saturn. So we have these here, and then we have Saturn here. So we have the T-square here, boom, and then Saturn here. And Saturn is in Pisces. It's just at the beginning. Looks like it's in Aquarius, I know, but it's in Pisces. So what we also have, and I don't have a little image for it, but we have Eris and the North Node, and they are conjunct. So Eris, I've talked about on a past video. That is the sister of Mars, and she is, just lost my moon. Let me grab it. There we go. So she is the sister of Mars, and she is the goddess of strife, pretty much. So she likes that. So this is so much of a volatile, aggressive energy that's going to be happening. There's so much entitlement, that combative energy that's going to be starting. The moon is in its fall in Scorpio, so could be that feeling of defeat. Mercury is up here, and it's in its detriment in Sagittarius. So, words and opinions not being heard. So I know if you are watching the news nowadays, we're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of, words, opinions not being heard, or, in a combative way. So the moon square to Saturn. So we have the square here. So we have this, and then we have the moon square to Saturn. So that brings up unresolved issues. So domestic issues. So unresolved issues. Look at what's going on in the world. There are these unresolved feelings, issues, unresolved, wars going on. But personally, you might feel burdened, overwhelmed. You might feel isolated. The sun square Saturn, so it's a conjunction, because the sun and moon, it's a new moon, so it's a conjunction. The sun then is also square Saturn. So that is, so it's a bruised ego almost, that feeling of defeat. So there's a lot of that defeated feeling going on with, with the moon in its fall, with the sun in that square. Pressure is building because nobody likes that bruised ego. How are they going to fix that? We feel that pressure building from authority or high up figures in the world. Together, this can cause like erratic behavior. The new moon opposing Uranus and conjunct Mars can really signify rebellion. That new moon is always about a new beginning. So new moons are about starting something, and that can last throughout the year. So when you think of a new moon, it doesn't just go to its next cycle in a couple weeks, but it could wax to a head in April with the full moon in Scorpio, and then waning back to the new moon next year in November. So we could have a volatile year here with all this kind of these volatile aspects and everything kind of kicking it off. So I feel like that's going to continue throughout the year. So I don't think we are going to be out of the woods anytime soon. And it kind of has been looking this way anyway, with the nodes not changing, Pluto kind of going back and forth and not changing until 2025. So I'm thinking, we're on this roller coaster till about early 2025. So what is beginning? So we look at the rest of the chart. So we have Mars also opposite Uranus. So what we just talked about in the weekly forecast, if you haven't watched that, I'll put a link in the description. But that's still going strong. So that's clashes between the superpowers. It can be really disruptive and unpredictable. So this is coming on from this week that we're kind of seeing right now with all this violence, people fighting, there's wars going on, plus there's just fighting amongst people taking sides, rash decisions being made, accidents, fights, blowouts, blow-ups. These all could have life-changing results. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, so we have the new moon in Scorpio, so Pluto is about that complete transformation. So we could see a complete reframing of society as we know it by next year. So a lot of changes, a lot of this roller coaster still to go. The sun in opposition to Uranus is a great chance to really kind of get in with our core self. It's can have like some with difficult disruptions in our life, but it could really get us a chance to kind of like make some changes. Are we doing the right thing? Are we moving in the right direction? And you could do a flip-flop and kind of like change. That's Uranus is all about change. So this bruised ego that we have from everything else going on could make us kind of change what we're doing, change the way we're going about things. And then we have the moon, of course, opposite Uranus as well. That's that emotional instability. So expect to maybe have kind of like a really up and down, ebb and flow of emotions going on. It could have some upheavals within the home and your family. And kind of see that with what's going on around the world as well. Is like with these bombings that are going on, they're hitting people's homes. They have hit people's homes. So people's and their lives are being disrupted, and they could never go back to the way it was. Things are changing, and it really can change the way people's lives are. So I feel like the events of this new moon phase in the upcoming year, and really will, I think, change us as a people, and I hope it is for the better. I hope that all of this, like this infighting and this, if you're on this side, you're not on this side, maybe it'll bring us together. And so I just see a lot of change of us as a people, of us as a society. People are fighting for independence. They're fighting for what they feel is right. People are unwavering and they're unapologetic. So people are just straight gear focused, and that could be really dangerous. So pretty much on a mundane level, we may see, again, earthquakes, floods, tsunamis from underwater earthquakes. We might see, just volatile seas, maybe, rip currents, stuff like that going on with the water. So even, with the Mars especially opposing Uranus, bombs, destruction of structures, because the bombs going off, and then we have Uranus and Taurus, so that's structures, that's building, that's the ground. The fixed energy of this, this is we got Taurus and we have Scorpio, and they are both fixed signs, so kind of know this isn't ending anytime soon. This is kind of that trucking along. These current conflicts around the world, hostility, contention, I think will continue to play out, and it might even last till next year, even up until the election we have going on in the United States in November. So what does this mean on a personal level? So you want to check out where this falls in your chart, and this is something that you kind of want to watch yourself. You want to see where these these aspects in your chart. So you want to pull your chart up, go to astro.com. It's a really easy way to do it. Put in your birth date, time, and place, and they'll get you a birth chart, and then you just kind of say with transits, and it'll show you where everything is around your own birth chart. So it'll be like yours will be in the middle, and it'll be around the outside. If you don't want to go through them, I do have Solar Fire, so please contact me. I can give you a free chart as well at astrotastrology.net or astrotastrology@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to get that over to you. So just give me the same information, birth date, time, and place, and your name and email address, and I'll get that over. So again, what does it mean on a personal level? So we're going to start with Aries rising. So if you're an Aries sun or rising, this will be in your 8th house. So we have upheavals, issues with anxiety, taboos, secrets coming out, maybe even with the spouse's money, maybe with depression, kind of it's going to be more 8th house kind of themes, and 2nd house. So a lot of money issues, even inheritance maybe, taboos, anxieties, things like that, all those 8th house issues. Then we have, if you're a Taurus sun or rising, it's going to be happening in your 2nd house and your 1st house, or your 7th house, 1st house. So this is going to be relationships. Look for issues in relationships. Look for marital arguments with your partner or with your business partner even. So it could have to do with, that bond that you have. There could be issues arising there, So you kind of want to watch that. People thinking, with the 1st house in there, people are thinking about themselves other than, their partner. So, and that's, where the Uranus is, so there could be changes in your relationship or with yourself. So then Gemini, a sun or rising, is going to be in the 6th house, 12th house. So it could be possible health issues, everyday, issues with your everyday routines. Maybe a wrench gets thrown in it, something, you're going to want to watch that health. You want to watch those, things you do every day, those mundane things that you don't pay attention to. People who work for you, even your pets. You want to, keep them safe, make sure nothing happens with them. You might be wrestling with that feeling of martyrism, doing all you can without receiving back. You might feel alone. You might feel a little isolated. You got the 12th house in there too. So that is Gemini and sun or rising. So then Cancer sun or rising, this is going to be the new moon's going to be happening in your 5th house. So it's going to be on the 5th, 11th axis. So that could be difficulty with your children. Maybe, fighting with your children, or they're acting out, or they're getting in trouble, maybe even in your dating life. So if you're currently dating, you could have some issues there. Maybe, things aren't going as well as you thought. Creativity, you could have a creative block. Issues in your friends group. So you could have, maybe if you're a writer, maybe, just you're drawing blanks. If you're a painter, drawing blanks, any with that creativity. So then that is Cancer. So now we have Leo, sun or rising. This is going to be going on in your 4th house, and that is, home, and then, it's in the 4th, 10th axis. So this could be upheaval in the home. So, maybe something happening with your plumbing. This is water happening here. We have Scorpio. So it could be something with plumbing. It could be something with maybe rains, you get flooded, or just issues with the home in general, with the structure itself, because you're thinking Uranus, and so could be something to do with that. So then if you are Virgo sun or rising, this is going to be going on in your 3rd house. So 3rd house right here, so it's going to be in your 3rd and 9th axis. So that's the house of kind of fighting and the effort you put in. So maybe you have a little, you're putting in a lot of effort but not getting a lot in return. Also could be with your siblings, so you could have issues with a sibling, something happening with them. You want to make sure that you reach out and you provide, care for them if you can. If they have an issue, use that 9th house in that axis to kind of learn about what you can do to help. Again, you might feel like the effort you put in is in vain. Arguments, even maybe with even neighbors or cousins, any of those third house themes. And that is Virgo. So then we have Libra. If you have Libra sun or rising, and that's going to be in the second house, eighth house axis. So it's going to be taking place in the second house. So watch those finances, issues between, maybe your money, your spouse's money, maybe you overspent, you're losing money, something happens with the banks, you might want to pay attention to that. Even things you own, something getting repossessed, maybe your car or something. So those are things that's kind of there. It's a lot to do with finances, especially being Libra and second house. So that's a lot of that Venusian energy going on there with money and stuff like that. So then we have Scorpio. So that, of course, that would be if you're a Scorpio rising or sun. It's going to be in your first house, seventh house axis. That's issues with oneself, maybe even your health again. Maybe feeling selfish, feeling that entitlement. You also want to watch for those possible health issues, maybe wrestling with something in your own self, trying to figure things out and not really coming to a resolution, feeling maybe that you're being attacked, feeling that maybe your spouse is attacking you or your partner's attacking you, and you're taking a lot of this on yourself and you're feeling very combative, and it's just going and hitting deep inside. This is Scorpio, don't forget, so it's really getting you to the core. It's really affecting your being. So you want to really, practice some self-care to kind of alleviate that. So then with Sagittarius, sun or rising, this is going to be happening in your 12th and 6th house axis. So this could be just needing solitude or, really pulling away, maybe becoming a little bit of a recluse, wanting to be alone and be reflective. But this could have the negative energy, so be careful not to let this aggression maybe put you in jail or put you into a hospital, because the 12th house is about hospitals. It could be about prisons. So you want to be careful there that you don't hurt yourself and you don't hurt somebody else or do something that's going to get you into trouble with these rash actions of Uranus and Mars. So then if you are a Capricorn, sun or rising, this is going to be in the 11th and 5th house axis. So this is going to be your community, your friends groups, maybe your online community. So maybe something happening, upheaval in your friends, something going on, maybe there's fighting going there, or even in your hometown community, what could be going on in your town, in your neighborhood. So it's a little more spread out than just, that third house. And then also with the fifth house, it's that, that creativity and that, trying to make things work, but kind of like things aren't working really. Maybe if you're trying to, get something going in your community and it's just kind of falling through. So then we have Aquarius, and that would be, if you're Aquarius sun or rising, that would be the 10th house, 4th house axis. So that's issues with your career, stress at work, going into your home life. Maybe you're bringing your work stress home and it's just not flying well, maybe with your spouse or your kids, and you're just being, a little too much. You don't want to bring that stuff home, and you don't want to bring stress from your home life into your work life. You kind of want to keep those separate because it could affect either way. You may almost feel too that your reputation might be at stake. Like, maybe somebody, spread something about you and you're trying to fix that reputation and there's something going on there. So you feel like you've been attacked. You feel like, I need to fix this before people actually start believing this. So that's the, 10th house. So that's Aquarius. So then if you're finally Pisces, last but not least, that would be the 9th house, 3rd. So that's animosity maybe towards religion or religious groups. This obviously we're seeing a lot of right now. We have a lot of these religious groups kind of going after each other in the Middle East, you're not seeing the other side maybe of something. Maybe you're getting a little preachy. Maybe you're, doing, not listening to the other side, and maybe you're, have those blocks up that we discussed. Issues maybe even at school, if you're still in school, if you're in college, maybe something's going on there, maybe with your learning process, planned trips falling through. I know we just had at work, I do ground transportation to airports, and somebody called because they had a big trip planned to Israel, and of course they had to cancel it. So, maybe some big trips falling through. So if you're a Pisces rising, that's how that would fall in your chart. So these things that are beginning now can really change your life. So make sure it's a good change and it's for the better. We're gonna really, I think this is really kicking off in the last couple weeks. October, really was kind of the onset, but I think things are going to maybe get a little bit worse before they get better. So it just kind of, this stuff. So now this is what's so great about astrology. It gives you kind of like a warning sign to, okay, so this is going to be happening, so you want to be prepared. If you think that, maybe there's going to be floods, maybe you want to, check your plumbing, check that. If it's something in your fourth house, maybe, if you're worried about your finances, you want to check that. Maybe you want to stock up on food, if you're in a bad zone where something could happen, you might want to get stocked up there a little bit. Stock up on food, water. If you're going to lose electricity, you might want to, if you have a generator, make sure you have gas. Make sure you have gas in all your cars. You just want to be aware, and it's being aware is, I think, the best kind of way to fight against things. We're aware of it now. We're aware something might be happening bad, so we're going to be on the lookout for it. Know your surroundings, be aware of what's going on around you, get yourself strapped in to ride that roller coaster, and just try and enjoy it as much as possible. But you want to go with the flow. You want to, you can't just jump off. You want to change, and if this is bringing on a big change, it might be hard, it might be difficult, it might be really scary, just like roller coasters are. But you want to be able to try and change, because if you don't change, you're not going to grow. And stick to your morals, though. You want to stick to what you find is important, and you also want to listen to what others find is important, because maybe that will then become important to you too. You want to be open-minded. You want to be good to your neighbors. You want to be good to your family. Give your kids or your husband or your mom, dad an extra big hug, and just, tell people you love them, because, people might not be feeling it right now. And with all this aggression coming up, we want to have some nice sweet words instead of aggressive words. So be sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell so you're notified of future videos, and I will see y'all soon. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.